Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday, and welcome to another episode of my talk show, Universal Dialogue. We are on episode 10. Wow, episode 10. I can't believe it, but yeah, the 10th episode is already upon us. So, my guest for today, my esteemed guest, is someone that I've known for quite some time now. And I'm happy to say that I'm happy for their success. How far they gotten so far. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. She's ready to rock outside the box. This is my good friend Sophie. Hey, are you muted, Sophie? Yeah, she's muted. Well, fuck. I think she forgot that she's muted in Discord.
I am not muted.
There we are.
Someone forgot to put my batteries in.
Oh no, yeah. It's fuck. I had to get one of the interns to do that. They must have accidentally.
Actually, battery power. Don't tell her. Hi, everybody. Welcome, Frill Seekers.
Hi, welcome to the show. Nice to have you.
Hello. Good to be here, Madam Universe.
So, like I told everyone in chat earlier, that it's happy to have you on the show, since the time frame that we've known each other is not long, but still good. Still a good time frame.
Yeah, I would say so. You've been around my chat for a good while. I'm always happy to see you. And
Yeah.
I saw you got your PNG. You got another PNG, and Sarah's been doing awesome work with your design.
Yeah, she has. I'm very grateful for her. She also did the studio.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm starting to see her influence. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I love what she did with the plays. It looks nice. But yeah, welcome to the show. How are you?
Here.
How are you doing this fine Wednesday?
Out of character. I have a belly full of chicken. I'm feeling pretty happy. The snow's been a bit oppressive, but I think we're over the hump. That is until more comes on Friday. We gotta stay chipper, right?
Yep, gotta stay chipper. Now let's see. A rabbit walks into the bar and the bartender is about to ask what he like, but just then another rabbit walks in rather irritated. The second rabbit says that you're a Doberman outside. The first rabbit said, yeah, why? Just then several cops walk in and arrest the first rabbit. The bartender confused as what just happened. The second rabbit says, that was the hair of the dog that bit me.
Is this the part where we laugh, Universe?
If you laugh, that's fine. I won't question you out loud.
I'll give you one pity laugh. Ha! There you
go. Good gosh.
Thank you for my her contribution to my funny bone.
Yeah. But yeah. So for people who are unfamiliar with the show, just piling into the esteemed guest herself, Sophie, who doesn't or isn't too familiar with the format of this show. Basically, I just have a guest on, I ask them about their life, what brought them here, what made them want to be a streamer / content creator, and just learn about their life and what they did. And also, all the stories you hear are always informative, never exploitive.
But I want to be exploited for like a treat.
Maybe later.
Yay, exploitation!
Yay!
Yeah, yeah,
Ah,
yeah, 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 yeah.
well, to start off with the random question, Sophie, can you tell us about your early childhood, if you remember anything about it?
Let's see here. I was a rambunctious, if not overly emotional kid. Dealing with autism in a family that very tentatively understood, but didn't want to admit that you had it.
Mm-hmm.
I got attached to video games a lot, and one thing, I was also not the most sociable. It was a minefield for me. Trying to connect with people, and you're very high strung and you're not into the same things that they're into.
Mm-hmm.
um so there was a sense of isolation, and it kind of added into this like venomous loop where I couldn't really connect with them, and I would overreact to stuff. I had a hard time interpreting jokes, all the autism staples. um
Yeah, this sounds all too familiar to me, to my younger years.
who feels seen right now? um It's wasn't all bad. I had two loving fathers, a stepfather and a real regular one.
Oh, me too.
Hell yeah. I
High
had
five, two
a
dads.
awesome. I had a mother who was that's a rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
But let's to paint a nice broad picture without dipping into some darker content. Let's just say that I have 13 moms now, and
Okay.
my birth one is sadly no longer with us. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess you'll take of that of what you will.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, what else can you remember from your early years? How was life for you during elementary school?
I gave you the broad strokes. Um, the school I went to was all right. I remember there was a really cool playground. Like we had a built-in playground. Um, but it's not. Hmm. I had about one half decent friend, and they were also kind of an outcast. I stuck with them
Mm-hmm.
for a little while, even past my middle school days. But it's it was a time where I got in the most in trouble because
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time comprehending boundaries, and I had very sheltering parents, and I was basically every time I was like a bottle of soda that got shook, and I was constantly getting thrown into situations where I'm not supposed to explode and get everywhere.
Oh. Oh. Dang. But going back to what you said about the stuff you're into, it wasn't what others were into. What stuff were you into when you were younger?
Pokemon. Um, for those who are fans, I'm sure you'll remember Generation 1 and 2, the original Game Boy ones, were very popular. They were like, everyone was playing them. But when the Game Boy Advance, the next ones came out, and then Generation 3 rolled around, everyone tried to pretend that they didn't like Pokemon anymore, or the suspicion that Pokemon was just a fad, and, and I just stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like letting it go because I still loved it a ton. No game series resonated with me so much. It got me into RPGs to begin with. And then, but it was basically a summation of kind of, because I never really did what other people like. I never followed the path. I never followed the mainstream. And now that's the cool thing to do. Hey.
Yeah. So do you remember Your favorite Pokemon from Gen 3?
Gen 3? I'm gonna say that it's the toss up. Um, I love Blaziken, Hariyama, Aggron, Delcatty, and Latios.
Not bad choices, all good choices, honestly.
What are some of your favorites?
Uh, I haven't played much of Gen 3, so I can't say. Uh, Trying to think. Because right now I did start playing Emerald. So, yeah, I just can't name it. I can't name any at the top of my head at the moment. No, I can't.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to me on that. Emerald's a really good game.
Okay, I will. Uh, so going from elementary school to middle school, how was life for you then? Did anything change for you, or did things just like kind of stay the same?
In middle school, it's where I started getting just a teensy bit more freedom. I can't really impress how much my parents did not like me leaving the house on my own.
Oh.
It didn't help when, like, near the end of my elementary school days, I moved in to a house which ended up being basically a hospice for my mom's grandma, for my mom's like mother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we stayed there after she passed, and I was right across the way. It's like you can actually see a playground directly from my kitchen, and I went there and I got beat up a lot.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, it wasn't my territory for lack of a better term. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so so I um I don't know if that contributed to the whole they wouldn't want me to like go out on my own or something like that. Like even if I had permission, I had to like they had a whole guy. It was like I was being pushed like in some kind of drug deal. They had to go through all the official red tape. Got really troublesome. But circling back to middle school, that's where I met my best friend who I stuck with for about 18 years. Let's call them Rabbit because that's what I called them in my adult life.
Okay.
Um, it was here where I started picking up with people that had similar interests. Um, Basically, I found the nerds. There were more nerds in this middle school I went to than the my previous my elementary days. Um, there was a lot of internet was becoming more of a mainstay in households, and this is where I started having internet at my home. I didn't have internet until like 6th or 7th grade.
No.
Um, yeah, it was the era of like Neurotically Yours, Albino Black Sheep, Frozen Flame. Who the hell remembers Frozen Flame? If you like remember specifically Frozen Flame, I will kiss you with consent because everyone remembers Newgrounds, everyone remembers Albino Black Sheep. Mine was Frozen Flame. That
Mhm.
our games on Congregate. That was our era of Tyrandom. Um, the only difference is that our era of random, unlike Skippity Toilet, is we liked a lot of violence. We liked
Yeah.
a lot of blood and violence.
Yeah.
Um, Ask me about Neurotically Yours at some point. Um, so that kicked off a what I call random phase, where I was developing my early sense of humors, and it was awful. It was awful. It was awful. It was awful. It was awful.
Mhm.
Because I a lot of people liked how I was kind of off the cuff, and I was like very unhinged. I was the crazy one. I was the who's that one idiot in Seinfeld? Kramer. Yeah, I
Yeah.
became the Kramer,
Mhm.
and while it did get me a my own niche why I didn't have at elementary school, it also meant that not a lot of people took me seriously, and that's a kind of a bad thing to be when you are the Kramer in your friend group, and you still want people to turn your head like, oh wow, so Sophie actually knows what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was the butt of a lot of jokes.
Yeah. I get that. I did something similar to that too. So, when I was growing up during like my middle school days, one of the shows that I would watch was remember Man vs. Food?
I actually picked up on that during my high school days, but I watched a few episodes whenever my dad put it on.
So yeah, and for people who don't know, Man vs. Food is like this guy would go to random restaurants who had like the crazy food challenges, like eat, for instance, like eat 10 hot wings with like the hottest hot sauce, eat this super big hamburger and these fries in under such and such time and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I thought, wow, this show is kind of cool. This guy is has like a following and people like him for eating all this crazy stuff. I thought, in my infinite, in quotes, wisdom as like a loner kid during middle school days, like, what if I do something similar like that, but for my school lunches? So I'll just do like random food challenges at lunch and hope people would like me and say, "Wow, that's so cool." Couple things happen. One, uh,
Oh,
it messed up my taste buds. So
mess up your okay. I need you to go into more detail on that. Like,
my
I've never heard of someone like messing up their taste buds before.
basically it just kind of make my taste buds are kind of fucked, and I would just try. Nothing would like gross me out anymore. Well, not a lot of things would gross me out anymore, so to speak.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that that's a thing. Uh, Two, it didn't really get me liked. More in fact, it got me bullied more. I mean, fun of more. Sadly, since like
Mm,
I was just known as like weird kid that would eat anything. That kid during middle school, and
yeah.
three did not do good for the weight. Sadly, it did not do
Oh, hon.
good for the whole eating healthy thing. So yeah, that was partly my middle school days.
Oh dear. I'm so sorry to hear.
Yeah,
Um.
it's fine now. It's fine. I'm fine now. I'm in a much better place now. Taste buds are still fucked, but what can you do?
Yeah. That's the problem when you're the random kid or tries to get heads and attention. You're walking a tightrope, and you run the risk of becoming the weird kid,
Hmm.
um, the one that people aren't too sure to be around. Um, I, I crossed into that territory more times than I want to admit.
Yeah, like I think one of the things that I just kind of like in graphs during those days, like having at least like self-respect for yourself and like be able to like put your foot down, like, hey, uh, even though I'm doing this, I'm still like a fucking person with like thoughts and feelings and stuff, and I want to be taken seriously, but I never did that during those days. So
Oh dear.
yeah, but yeah, it's whatever now. It's all in the past, so to speak. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm. So going from middle school to now you're in high school. What were your high school days like for you?
High school is where I started to calcify and sowed the seeds of what I would do in adulthood. I followed my best friend from middle school into high school. Um, we the school I went to was a predominantly black school. It was a lot of people of color.
Oh, okay.
Um, So once again, I got to be the freaking outcast 5 times. Um, there were a lot. There were a lot of sweet people there. I had the most. I had my favorite teachers.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know how to put this delicately, but from like at the like partway into middle school and in the high school, as if like regular social hurdles weren't enough of a challenge for me, I started to deal with hormones, and
Mhm.
I started to deal with horny, and that's the worst thing a teenager has to deal with. And I'll spare you the details, but as if my social cue readability was bad enough as it is, I was starting to get affectionate for people.
Mhm.
Um, it was around this middle school was where I like started playing with the idea that I started imagining what it would be like to be a girl. Um, and I had pushed it down before the end, but I started engaging with more queer people in high school, and I started getting comfortable with letters of the LGBT slowly but surely. Um,
Mhm.
2006 to 2008 was a terrible time, guys. Like, don't let the rose-tinted glasses fool you. This was a time where saying gay constituted as being a joke.
Yeah.
We called everything gay. You know, it's
Mhm.
okay. We no one's perfect.
Mhm. So, so you
Mhm.
can say like during your high school years, it started when during your high school years you started to question your gender identity and expression.
I did for like a couple of months, and then because you couldn't even be gay in middle school, like seriously, it was not. You just couldn't. Um, so I buried that crap right down.
Mhm.
But engaging with my queer friends during like high school, like it started you kind of the slowly adapt out of some bad habits,
Mhm.
but it just made sense. It just made sense for people to like whoever they want. Like, people need to stop being so superficial. Um, High school, I probably had the most freedom. I was able to walk home a decent way, with my best friend, and it allowed me. Like, we would sometimes like I was so desperate to just be able to go out on my own that what pretty much we took the long ways deliberately around the city because we
Mhm.
lived in a major rural city.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, and I I started getting fed up. I don't know how dark can we go here. I
Uh,
don't want to.
only to the point where you are comfortable, because I don't want you to like get uncomfortable and recount any bad memories. So, if you ever want to like stop and like set a limit for yourself for how uh dark you want to get, that's perfectly fine.
I am a wild card, so my mom drank a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So my birth mom drank. This isn't any of the 13, not Amy or anything. This is my birth mom. She drank a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll stop it there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I get around the end of my sophomore year. I had had enough. So, I was getting to that age where I could decide where I wanted to live. My parents divorced when I was 2 years old,
Oh.
and so, okay, hold on one sec.
Mm-hmm. Sophie's doing something, audience. I don't know what she's doing, but she's doing something.
I'm tippity tappity tippity tappity.
Tippity
Um,
tappity. Okay, okay.
so I visited my dad every Wednesday and Saturday, but at the end it's like, um, I've had enough of this. I said it was also mostly school, and that was kind of true. Oh, that's good. Excuse me. That
Mm-hmm.
was kind of true, but it was. Excuse me. Carbonation.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly her. It was mostly her. Um, so I packed my crap and moved out and got into a more me somewhere I could breathe a little bit better. So I spent my first 2 years in one high school. I spent my other 2 years and graduated at another high school. Um, and the people kept saying like they had horror stories at the first high school I went to. I'm like, guys. Oh, no, wait, no. They said that the high school we were at that I graduated in was bad. It was terrible. I'm like, guys, you don't know the half of it. Literally the half of it. I spent half my high school life at this place. It wasn't terrible. A little bit dangerous for me, but not bad. I lived mostly.
And that was for your freshman and sophomore years.
Freshman, sophomore years, it was, how should I put it? I didn't learn diddle beyond emulating games for the first time and learning like the ins and outs of PC of computers. I'm not very technically sound, but I was actually learning like because my best friend was super technically inclined, so I picked up a few things from them. I learned, I guess for reference, while I was playing Team Fortress 2 was having its first scout update. That's when I first learned about Team Fortress 2. That's where we were at there. Still not bad. And then I just screwed off. Now, my second high school, my second one. Also, wait. Ava Fangs, thank you so much for the follow. You're such a darling. This other high. Oh yeah, no. Well, let me tell you about the senior prank. Can I tell you about the senior prank?
Sure.
That happened at my my first high school.
Oh, I'm down.
Okay, let me paint you a picture. Okay, so it's the end of the year is coming up. Like we have a few weeks of high school left. I had left my science class and I was going down the hall, and we heard whispers of the senior prank. We're like, oh, what's the senior prank? Well, for those, just a reminder, the senior prank, a lot of schools don't do it anymore. They're pretty hard on it. Like they will take away like your end of the year activities like dances and field trips if you try to pull something. So, but it's basically seniors pull off one prank, and the joke is, well, what are you gonna do? Put them in detention? You're gonna expel them? The year's up and they're graduating. Who cares?
Basically, yeah.
It still some people do it. It's very risky to do because it's kind of faculty were kind of fed up with it. But this group of people did. So I'm walking down the hall, and I hear screaming, like blood-curdling screaming. And out of nowhere, I see just a huge swarm of people coming rushing toward me all at once. And these people have like panicked and disturbed looks on their faces. I'm hearing popping. I'm like, oh god, am I about to become a statistic? And I see smoke like pouring out. Just like pouring out from where they're coming from. And I immediately run in the opposite direction. I follow the herd, and I go into the stairwell. I was on, I think, the second floor, and I was heading up to the third floor anyway. Then I try to get up, and I start slipping. And it turns out that another group of these pranksters had put baby oil in the stairwell. So their whole prank, and I guess this constitutes as a prank. It's a YouTube grade prank if I ever heard one. People were using like, I don't know if they're using firecrackers or what, like smoke bombs to scare students. I can't even fathom what they were trying to simulate,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to think about it. And then they lubricated most of the stairwells so that people would fall over on their asses in their panic fleeing.
Oh.
Um, it is my understanding that all of the students involved in that got expelled.
Ah.
Yeah. I ended up taking refuge in the library. In my high school days, especially like my mostly in my was it freshman and sophomore years, I would stay in the library and study because it
Mm.
was quiet, and most of like the more aggressive kids would leave me alone. Because I was it was not my world,
Mm-hmm.
and mm,
That is some prank. And that was not during your senior year. Was during like your junior year, I guess.
God, I wish it was my sophomore year.
That was your
And with
sophomore year.
yeah, before I moved on, I went to go live with my dad. I live between two states that are very close to each other, and they're connected by a bridge.
Okay.
So I go from state to state a lot.
Okay. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
was there a senior prank for your senior year?
If there was, I stayed right the hell out of it. I my senior year went pretty good because I finally found a comfortable friend group that I could. I joined the theater class. I was a techie for pretty much all of our productions. Oh god, I have stories on the theater. Oh god, I could talk your ear off about that.
Oh. What? What's one story you can name from your days on the stage?
You asked for it. So, oh gosh, do I tell the story of the time someone's peeing audio played over the speakers during a Halloween play, or do I tell you the story of how I pulled a baton too hard and smacked a girl in the face with the steel pipe?
I pick both because both I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, so my high school production team was pretty good, but it had all of the it helped me develop my performative angle. It got me interested in being able to be wacky and weird for all of you guys. I like to think that a lot of my stuff that I learned that I applicated into VTubing.
Mm.
So I was a techie for most of it. It was pretty good. I was able to make friends finally, like actual like felt like friends. Um, so during our production of Dracula, I was a usher, and
Oh.
yep, and we did a production of Dracula,
Bram
and
Stoker's
after the
Dracula?
Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Oh.
so we had our Dracula who was this very handsome guy. He was perfect for the role, and he knocked it out of the park for his introductory scene. And he goes off, and the next scene plays, building up stuff, building up the story, building up the lore. And out of nowhere, we hear over the speakers where people are supposed to be like, because we had our actors mic'd, surprisingly.
Oh no.
And we hear this. Now, what one classic embarrassing story of the of theater is someone getting stage fright and peeing themselves on stage. It has happened. It sucks, and
Mhm.
it is a nightmare scenario. I can imagine. But never before have I heard someone like just peeing to the point where everyone can hear him. So what happened is our actor for Dracula, that he went off to go to the bathroom because he had some time between his next scene,
Mhm.
and whoever did, maybe he didn't tell them, he didn't tell the techie people, but they forgot to mute his mic.
Oh.
So when he went to the bathroom, the entire audience heard everything.
Oh god.
Everything.
Like, did he say anything while using the bathroom, or did they just hear him use the bathroom?
Oh god, if I can only imagine if it was like a really good piss, like it's like you'd be like, Oh yeah! I was holding that in for hours, and like you can hear it, you kind of make it out, like connected to the Dracula voice, and he's like, ah! Oh, no.
Oh, that
Lowest points if he
sucked.
owned it when he returned on stage. Yeah, he goes up, just grabs the mic, and he goes, "I made piss.
I made piss.
I can't talk right now. I'm making piss."
Yeah. Yeah, 100% not his fault. That is all on like the sound people not telling him to like or not tell him that or not mute the mic themselves. I don't
I'm
think
pretty sure they had control of all the mic muting because you're supposed to mute them anyway when they get off stage, so they don't you don't hear them.
Oh my god. So what happened after he returned from the bathroom?
We joked about it. We busted his balls after off stage after the show was up, but everyone got a kick out of it. Like I think it was like the first or second show, so Scuff is expected. It's like a VTuber debut. You expect Scuff. It's inevitable, like the sun coming up.
Well,
Okay.
everything okay?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Everything turned out well for him. Besides, you know, being heard taking a piss. And the other story about you hitting someone with a bat.
Well, it wasn't really a bat. You know those like big metal bars that hold up backdrops and whatnot? Yeah, they're called battens.
Okay.
So I guess I did him with a metal baton. Okay, so during our last show, we were doing Seussical, and we got use of the like multi-use backdrop because Seussical is a bit of a cluster. It's a bit of a cluster, a bit of a mess of a show, and we. I got assigned to pull the ropes because I wanted to do something. Like, okay, quick tangent. I wanted to act proper, but if anyone who's been in theater, you know there is one archetype of theater teacher that you can get, where they pick the favorites. They pick the kids that are popular. That Rebecca Perrin video. Let me explain. Yeah, that does happen. That happened to me. I wanted to be Dracula's little stogie, little stooge. And I got a callback for it. And then afterwards, they went for another senior that because I was a bit of a loner. I had friends, but I didn't like actively hang out with them outside of school for the most part. And they picked someone who had like a southern accent, and he was probably like the weakest. And that you just pick the people that are popular for the most part. And after that, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna try this again. So I ended up doing techie stuff for Dracula, and then I pretty much I ended up pulling ropes because I wanted like a more significant. So I got on the techie crew, and during like the first or second show, we're up there, we're coordinating because they had like they marked the ropes with color depending on when you need to pull the ropes to change the backdrops. And just before intermission, I got overzealous because the show was going pretty good. I was feeling the energy. I pulled it too hard by myself. And the baton, like imagine this is the baton. It started swaying like this.
Oh.
And before it rose up completely, it clocked one of the background girls in the face.
Oh God, that had to hurt.
I was devastated. I wanted to quit. I did not want to engage. I shut off completely. It didn't help when one of the women in the cast during intermission was like, yeah, nice going, Sophie. And I immediately like ran off, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I think she realized that was a bit too crass.
Yeah,
but I rallied and we finished the show. She didn't get hurt. It wasn't any like permanent damage. It was just, I think it was just like a gentle bump like a pretty firm bump, but nothing to like cause a bruise. Or at least I hope it didn't cause a bruise. Um,
I'm glad she
the real
wasn't
story,
hurt from that.
the real story, I think, from Susical was a time someone's phone was stolen, and we got held after for like 2 hours after rehearsal just to find the damn thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, my dad was pissed.
Oh yeah,
'Cause-
I would be too.
Yeah, he almost didn't want to take me back. I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna do this if you're gonna get held longer than what you were saying you were gonna be." I'm like, "It's not my fault." Like, what? What do you want? Like, that was a cell phones were getting more and more valuable. So at the
Mhm.
time, yeah, it was. And we all know who did it. We all know who did. I don't know how they managed to hide it, but I think they threw the phone away, like into like a swampy area, but they never got the phone.
Oh, a swampy area.
Mm.
Oh.
They threw it like in a river or something.
Oh, that is so fucked up. Damn, a river.
Yep. Yep. There goes their save file of on Angry Birds.
Yeah. uh, so all this was during like your second high school for junior senior year.
Well, like I said, I had a lot of fun in theater. I probably had the most stable, like, I guess to bring it up, like, in terms of middle and high school, sixth grade was wild, random, and expansive. Seventh was my worst year ever. Like, it was such a miserable year from start to finish. Everyone was miserable. We hated everything. Eighth grade was getting better. A lot of the miserable kids moved out, and I just stopped hanging out with them for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Ninth grade was kind of meh, like better than seventh grade, but not that great. Then was it sophomore year? I was so fed up with everything. It was like I have a disposition against drawing. Like that's why I commission so many people, so many great artists. Because if I'm psychologically like cannot draw. If I try, I'll start shaking.
Oh.
But I was actively making comics, expressing how fed up I was with my mother and the school I was in, and just how awful people were.
Mm-hmm.
Junior year was a healing period for me. I was in a more stable place. I was meeting better people who were more adjusted. And senior was kind of like the acceptance stage. Like, I'm pretty good, but I'm ready to be done with this.
Yeah.
Um, Nothing really of like serious happened. I pretty much kept my head down. I tried art history, and I truly detested it because I wanted to. It wasn't how I wanted to embrace art. I gained an appreciation for it later. Oh, Shame, I'll have to see something from you. It's not much. I can't draw for nothing, Gwen. But I think my biggest thing was just what I got out of senior year was my appreciation for performance, for theater, all the stuff I was doing for attention, could be translated into performing. I really loved doing improv stuff. I really liked putting on the little in school plays because I performed in a couple of those. I think my favorite moment was I was playing this edgelord kid of like we were playing as a bunch of rejected freaks. The play was called Freak.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a kid named Damien because I didn't realize I was a girl yet. I played a Damien. I basically was the edgelord kid, and during my monologue, at the end of it, I scream, "Are you afraid?" And I gave it my all, and I heard like it was dead quiet, and I heard one single kid go, "Yes." Oh, it was. I'm like, it was. I was a total edgelord, but god damn it, I enjoyed that one moment. That was fun.
That was cool. Like, and the fact that you got someone scared because you were that into the role, That's impressive.
Yeah. And if you see my arm freaking out like that, I am drinking water.
Hmm. Uh, so I assume that you either graduated, got your diploma, or got your GED after high school. So, what did you do after high school?
Well, the very last thing that I did in high school was a trip to New York. Um, it was kind of like the epilogue to my entire school arc thing. Um, would you like to know about my time in New York? There was some fun things of note.
Sure,
Hello,
I
Fred.
wouldn't mind.
So the first thing we did on these Greyhound buses that took us to New York was nearly sweat to death because the thing's AC was broken, and this was a particularly hot spring. Um,
Oof.
I remember seeing it was a bunch of us theater kids and choir kids, who went over,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and when we got into New York, it was my first time like really out of state by myself, and the guided tours were pretty good. There was one moment where we were in a very significant church. I can't tell you what the church was, but it was a very, like, it was a dead quiet, like a historically significant area.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, I don't know what it spurred on for my theater and choir teachers, but they were talked into by a group of like the choir kids to go up to like the chapel thing, like the stage or whatever, and just start singing like a cappella version of Elijah Rock.
Oh.
And
Okay.
yeah, I don't know what got him into it, but no one stopped us. And after it was over, apparently like one of the ministers or like one of the officials walked up to our teachers like, you're not supposed to sing or perform without given consent.
Wait,
And
give them consent.
yeah, I think you have to like book a space if you want to do a performance. It's basically like, it's kind of like busking, even though we were a bunch of theater brats, entitled theater brats.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't sing, so I just watched, and it was like, oh well, this is. I kind of had this like eerie feeling of, are we supposed to be doing this?
Mm-hmm. I mean, then again, I don't. You just doing like a free performance, like a room. I presume no one besides you guys.
There were other people here. Apparently we cheesed someone's onions, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Also, Miss Universe, it looks like I am cutting off a little bit. I think you might want to move my asset just a little bit down.
Oh. Okay. One moment. Make myself grow. There we go. Hmm. And did anything else happen during your trip in New York?
I almost wanted to blow all of the money I had to get a 3DS because I was desperate for one at the time. Pokemon X, because of that, Pokemon X and Y were the only Pokemon games I did not get at launch because I didn't have a 3DS until much later.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of other things was I was able to go to the Nintendo store. I got to see the Game Boy that was blown up in the Gulf bombing when it was still operational.
Oh yeah, the
Uh,
one that Nintendo
ye-
Power showed off.
Yeah, sadly it is no longer functioning, like it finally died out. But it didn't
Mm.
die because of that bombing, I can tell you that much.
Mhm,
The Wii U was just starting to like be talked about. It was before we realized that it was not worth anyone's time. I still love it though. I still love the Wii U. I remember going to 3 different shows. I went to Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark when it was still on Broadway.
You went to that play?
I know, it more like it happened to me. I was still a tentative Spider-Man fan, and let's just say that after the show, I was inspired to buy a comic collection or a comic trade of like the first 40 or so issues of the Golden Age or Silver Age Spider-Man, and despite its awful writing and wonky like storytelling and art, I was having a much better time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
I can't believe I know someone actually went to that play.
hmm
Mm.
Um, after that, when I got home, that was it. I was in an eternal summer, and I got home to my first significantly powerful computer. My dad got it to me as my graduation present.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Yep, I name all my computers. He was the first one I started naming all my computers. His name was Big Brian. He was a loyal dog, in a matter of speaking. And my time in like adulthood had begun.
Uh, Before we start asking Sophie about her adulthood, it's that time to stream where an ad break's about to show up. So we're going to take a quick ad break. But before we do that, just want to tell everyone that the real sponsors of the show is you all, everyone in chat. How are we all the real sponsors? Well, you can donate to me on my Ko-Fi, !Ko-Fi, to donate there. I also take gifts and donations via Throne. And if you want to support me on the Twitch side of things, consider getting Twitch Turbo. It's $11 a month, ad-free viewing for every Twitch channel you watch Twitch on, and if the stream you're watching also goes on an ad break, they still get the ad revenue and you still get the ad-free viewing. So consider getting Twitch Turbo. Alright, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue the interview with Sophie. Have a great time during the ads. Hello, welcome back from the ads. Welcome back to Universal Dialogue. Still here with my guest, Sophie. Yeah, hope y'all enjoyed the break. So, for the break, where we last left off was you talking about your trip to New York, and that was like the fun thing you did while in high school before you graduated.
Sure was.
Mm-hmm. So can you tell us of what you did after you graduated high school?
Well, after that, I became an adult, and my early adult years sucked.
Ah.
So here, let me tell you about being a sheltered kid. When you're a sheltered kid, and you don't really ask your kid what they want to do when they grow up, and they're sheltered and they don't get to see the world that much, they don't really develop a lot of aspirations because they don't have a lot of people to live up to, because that's a big thing. um some people are motivated by themselves, sometimes we are motivated by others. I'd say both are very rarely viable ways to live. um so I didn't carry a lot of friends past high school. I had my best friend from middle school who I still hung out with, and they were pretty much in the same boat as me, where we played a lot of games. And my first 2 years, yeah, my first full 2 years, was basically me not doing anything because I was too anxious to be into the outside world because I wasn't allowed to explore it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I, my first year, I was a complete bum. Like, my dad would be very pushy about it, and to his credit, that's the right thing to do. Um, but I kind of placated him for a while, and then after the first year, he finally broke me out of my cowardly shell. My big thing was I didn't know how to drive, and I taught my the reason for that was in my first year, um, I tried to learn how to drive, and I hit a curb so hard that I punctured the tire. I didn't know what that at the time, but I hit the tire, and he lied to me and he said, "Oh, it's fine," because he didn't want to really stress me out. But bless my dad's heart. I have a complicated history with him too, but he wanted me to break free, and he also wanted me to learn how to drive. But he isn't a very good teacher because he gets impatient if you don't he gives you very vague instructions, and if you don't follow them right away, he gets upset.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good combination for teaching.
It's not.
So I didn't learn how to drive for another year. I had to get my stepdad to teach me because he was a lot more patient. And I was finally able to get my hours in. I got my license. From there, getting a job was a lot easier. And one thing you'll know about me is I stick with my jobs for a while. I have spent about a total of 10 years in retail.
Oh.
Saying that really puts it in perspective, but 10 years, 7 years was spent on my first ever job where I worked at let me put it this way, it was a grocery store that so desperately wanted to be Walmart.
Oh, damn. Wow.
Yep. If you want shade, you want some sweet, freshly cut drama, you've come to the right place. This is a Walmart wannabe,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it permeated. It wasn't a bad place to work. Um, it's where I found my partner that I'm still with to this day.
Congrats.
Um, Let me put it this way: if high school helped me, um, come to terms with that I'm okay with LGB, um, and Q, uh, my time at work helped me be okay with the T for trans people.
Oh.
Because in my early years, we were like, I didn't get it. I really didn't. I didn't get it. Because if I tried to get it, if I tried to give these poor people anything more than scorn, then what friends I did have, would push me out. Because how dare I think otherwise? Just because they already had come to their conclusion, so why can't I come to mine? And that was awful. That was truly awful. But my options were limited. And now that I was broken free from those people, I wasn't really. I was just friends with one guy who was indifferent. Um, and he was like, he was sympathetic at least. But I met this person. We'll call them Rose. Um, I had slowly seen them accessorize more, and they were coming out more. And I saw them with the wig, and I talked with them, and their first impression with me apparently was that I looked like a douche.
What?
Yeah, no, I talked with her coworker was a pharmaceutical person who I talked to and had feelings for. We'll call them Nevin. We'll call them Nevin.
Okay.
And Nevin and I talked a lot. I was a pseudo intellectual. She was an actual intellectual.
Mm-hmm.
But I started talking to Rose too, and from there, what's the word I'm looking for? There was one incident where they had been harassed by a customer, and they were just trying to stay in the back room to avoid them. And I go over to them, as like, "Hey, are you okay?" And like, I wanted to, because I hate that feeling of being harassed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Okay, yeah." But then the big moment happened. Was I worked in electronics. I was in charge of the games. It was snazzy, and I saw her in my game aisle, and it was a slow day. So I go up to her like, "What you doing in my lair? What you doing in my lair, Rose?" And then she goes, "I'm a princess. I can go wherever I want." And without missing a beat, I reply, "You look like a princess." And she stated that was the moment where she fell in love with me.
Aww.
And she just wanted to hang out with me and just like be around me. So at this time, I had a regular hunting ground since middle school for card games called Hockey Mans.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been closed down for years now. But even when the owner died, I was playing a game called Cardfight Vanguard. That's a whole other rabbit hole. And we bonded through this game. And it got to the point where we started dating, and we decided that I wanted to move in with her. Because she was, we were lonely, and I was so tired of living with my dad. Because my dad's a very overprotective sort. But I actually I felt the need to lie to my dad until that we had things more confirmed, because I was worried that he was gonna disown me and throw me out.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did not. My dad did not have the highest opinion on any of the L's, the G's, the B's, the LMNOPs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Vanguard. Oh, you remember? This was during the reboot. This was during V series. For those who remember, but I won't. Don't worry about it if that's all gobbledygook to you. So I eventually tell my dad, and it's very interesting because my dad was like trying to find help, like say, "Hey, maybe you wanna move out, but you can stay here as long as you want." He didn't want to be alone. My dad kind of worked a very basic lifestyle, and I think it kind of bit him in the rear because he never had any aspirations beyond. Yeah, never had really any aspirations. I asked him at one point, like, "Did you ever have any dreams?" He's like, "Not really." I'm like, wow.
Wow.
Fucking sucks. So there was a time where I was trying to make YouTube videos work, and I went nowhere with that. I was very directionless because I didn't have a new peer group, a new friend group, to like bounce off ideas off of, to connect with. And this was at the point, hanging out with Rose helped me further understand how good it was for someone to genuinely want to engage with the stuff I liked, who was willing to take a chance with the stuff I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think my favorite memory regarding Vanguard is when we played in a regional qualifier at a shop that we regulared. This place was called I think I can say the actual name. Cardinal? Yeah, Cardinal. That's card and all, like the bird. Tweet.
Oh, clever, clever.
Yeah. So I went to a regional qualifier. Only I played. She didn't want to deal with all the sweat. And I remember I never won a tournament myself, but I actually qualified for top 8. I by sheer luck I qualified for top 8 at this tournament. It was the most competitive I had ever been, and I had an incomplete deck.
Oh.
But and I remember one of the happier memories was there was a Little Caesar's Pizza, like right down the road, and we had an hour break between the initial pairings and then top 8. I remember we went down there and we ordered a large cheese. We sat down at an empty table in the card shop and we ate away, and it was a really good time. I made it to top 4 in that, and I could have hit the finals if I had not misplayed. Oh man.
Mm. It's good that you actually played. I was very proud of you for doing that.
Yeah. But that was a tangent. So into my years living with Rose. This we bounced around to a couple of places. We played different games. We enjoyed each other's company. And it got to the point where I was getting tired at my first job because it was a miserable place. I basically got pushed into a manager position, but they didn't call it that, so they didn't have to pay me management wages.
Ah.
And then one day, while I was still watching animators who did My Little Pony projects, but they were moving on to other things, I still watched them because they were good animations. And one of these people, I'm jumping all over the place. I'm sorry. This is going somewhere. This is going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's a person by the name of Two Snacks, and they did a lot of pony animation. They were very, very good, like professional quality, like really good stuff. I recommend it. It's just Two Snacks. They did a video called Ekum Bokum. And
I think I know that.
Yeah,
video.
we're getting there. We're getting there, guys. We're getting to how all this happened. So I looked up like, who is this dog person? Then yeah, Ekum Bokum blew up. It was like this based off this VTuber by the name of Korone. And her playthrough of Banjo-Kazooie, where she would say Ekum Bokum every time she collected one of those silver Mumbo tokens. Remember from Banjo-Kazooie?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what VTubing was. I clicked the link and see it was a live stream of this character, who moving around, and she speaks Japanese. And because it's a live stream, there is no subtitles. I'm like, okay, this isn't something I can engage with yet. So before I continue to pivot, was there any other questions you had?
So you described that was your first job. What was your second job?
More of the same. It's the job I'm at right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Next question is, what did you do during 2020 during COVID?
Oh, goody. what's the trying to remember. Okay, so it was not the best time, of course. No, no, not for anybody. Um, I managed to keep my job because it was an essential business. Um, really, it was just an excuse to not really be sociable. I was hanging out with one YouTuber's community because I was aching for that connectiveness to be close with other people. Um, so I joined a couple communities, and some of them felt close, like regular like voice chat groups. It was pretty fun, but nothing really, it didn't quite scratch that itch. Um, and I still had a lot of my high school stank to rub off, to like wash out, because I
Mm.
had there was a point after high school where there's no sensitive way to put this. I regulared 4chan more times than I did, and my whole justification for that was to go, oh, I'm going to laugh at all the awful people as if that's any better, and then I am going to like nod my head at the people who are actually making sense. And with that, I automatically galaxy brain, right? I had cracked the freaking code. I had an understanding, more so than any philosopher or activist or what the hell ever. Um,
Mm.
and I was very much still in this mindset, and I had to get the heck out of it. Um, and I was still into this mindset when I hung out with a person who became a VTuber, and we definitely don't talk about it anymore. Um, but I got into a lot of trouble because I was still needlessly aggressive. I had a lot of pent up anger and resentment from one thing or another. It was a lot of stressful time, but despite it all, me and my girlfriend even broke up for a brief time, like for a few months. And then we
Oh.
realized that it was all misery from the COVID and other factors, and we got back together, and we were still happy together to this day. Um, but we fought it all. We moved into a new place. I hated wearing a mask. They're important. They're important. But it buzzed a lot of triggers in my neurodivergence. Let's put it politely.
Mm.
Um, but from there, what's the word I'm looking for? It was just kind of until we walked out of it, and then I started like looking into what VTubers were, because VTubers really started blowing up in the West because no one else had anything to do, and I think it's because of like the position that COVID did, and just people who was that one dragon VTuber that they rebranded, but they Coco. Yeah,
Yeah.
Coco. Yeah, Coco pushing for Hololive in the West made VTubing accessible, and I realized there were a bunch of independent VTubers getting into this. Was there, before I get into this, was there any other questions you had for me before I dip into my VTuber origin story?
Uh, the only question did you have not did you have did you do any streaming before you became a VTuber?
Oh god, no. The most I ever did was trying some early video production. You don't need to look at my old YouTube videos. I like some of the scripts in them, but I would probably structure them way differently now. That was a couple of years ago, like 2021 and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's about it.
Okay. As you stated before that your introduction to VTubing was Corona with a whole Two Snacks video and her playthrough of Banjo-Kazooie, but what actually wants you to start becoming a VTuber?
Well, I had only tentatively started watching Dragon Ball The Abridged after it ended. But I recognized the name Takahata 101, the famous voice actor, the good old haha comedian man. Um,
Mm.
and I found out that he had dipped his toes into the VTubing business with his bar and all that. Um, then I saw a bunch of other creators like all mixed together, and one of them was a guy named Junk. Um, I remember like I was tentatively on Twitch and I saw Junk in my recommended because I watched Takahata very very rarely. But I went on and checked out Junk. I'm like, oh, check this person out. Um, so what's the word I'm looking for? So Junk, I went onto his channel and he was very kind. He was very engaging. If it wasn't for Junk's sweetness, you probably wouldn't have to deal with my dumb ass. Um, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Mhm.
Junk's friendliness made me think, wow, maybe there's more to this. So I joined his. I realized he had a Discord. And I was used to hanging out with people on their Discords now because I was actively on there. I jumped on, and I saw him in the VC. I'm like, oh my god, I can. The other creator who I was following was so rarely on his VC, so I jumped on and we started talking with this community. It was cool people, and one of the people who joined on was someone named Mistress Doom. I had no idea who Mistress Doom was at the time. I thought she was just another fan.
Mhm.
And that couldn't have been further from the truth. And we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links at the time, and I what's the word I'm looking for? I was I don't know if it was me or someone else, but Doom and Junk were collaborating to do a Duel Links tournament. And in the excitement, we decided to do a mock tournament in that VC on the spot. And I got beat by Doom's mod, Jimmy.
Damn.
um, yeah, I got beat in the finals.
Wow, you went to the
Um,
finals. Nice.
yeah,
What
Duel
deck?
Links was a trip.
What deck were you using?
At the time, Six Samurai.
Okay.
Um, so this was before all this happened. We're gonna get to that.
Mhm.
So I decided that this was something that maybe I wanted to do, and from Junk, and this is what I like about VTubing is that I can go from one person, I can meet new people, and it just branches off from there. A lot of the friends that I have now were rooted in the seed of like meeting the first few friends I had ever met. From Taka, I met Mimcubus. From Mimcubus, I met Vexoria. From Vexoria, I learned about Min, and then Prism debuted a little after I did, or a little before or after. No, they debuted before me. And then I hung out with Doom, and the big culminating moment that made me want to do VTubing was Mistress Doom's first ever charity tournament. This was when Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel came out, for those who, followed that game for a little bit. Doom had brought together, and she cut this like really really good trailer of everyone's models dancing around to a cover of "Can You Feel the Power" from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's. Yu-Gi-Oh! No, not 5D's. Arc 5. Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5's opening.
Mhm.
And it was like God. It was like the goddamn Avengers trailer for me. Like holy crap, it was so cool. um, I was reading Gwen's comment.
Mhm.
So it was a 16-person master tournament, and I was so excited for it that I actually went and followed every single person that was like playing in this tournament so I could learn about them, and that helped sow the seeds even further. And it was such a fun time. I enjoyed it so much that I listened to it while I was at work and risked getting in trouble with my boss because they didn't want me to have an earpiece in while I was outside.
Oh.
Um, yeah, no, I drained my battery to like the very end of that day because I needed more. Um, and then I decided that okay, that's it. I want to do this. I want to be a VTuber. which compounded by things when my freaking egg hatched.
Oh, congrats.
uh, Madam Universe, if you don't mind me asking, you feel free to not just divulge, but how did your egg hatch?
How mine hatched?
Hmm.
It happened. Trying to think, like the exact moment it happened, cause I think it might have been when I was in like high school, like around 15, 16 years old, around that time. Strangely enough, it was like uh when uh when Caitlyn Jenner came out. So people started talking about Caitlyn Jenner, and people started talking about like, oh, here's Caitlyn Jenner's trans. Here's what being trans is, and I started to look into that myself, and like the more I looked into it, the more and more things started clicking for me personally, and I remember one specific night, I wake up my older brother, who we were staying in the same room at the time. Wake him up middle of the night. I ask him, sorry, I tell him like, sorry, I woke up, but I have to tell you something very important. So I sat him down on my bed, with mustered up all the courage I had in my beating nervous heart, and I just came out to him and said I would like to transit. Even though I didn't use these words at the time, I said I would like to transition one day. And yeah, I think that was the first time my egg cracked. All the way
That's
back at,
great.
yeah, all the way
That's
back,
great.
yeah. And here I am now.
Yep, you're a pretty kitty, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm tiger on the internet.
Yeah.
uh, but and so going back to your VTubing origins, did you start out with this design, or was there like a 1.0, so to speak?
Well, there's a lot to go into it. When my egg hatched, I was I was in the parking lot of my work, and I thought to myself, I want to start fresh from Pokemon, starting from the Switch era all the way to the end of it. But I want to be a girl, and that little notion, and then the reality of I didn't have to hide it anymore. Like I was in a safe place. I was with a trans woman, and I don't have like there's nothing holding me back anymore. And then all the evidence from my life of the time where my best friend's sister put makeup on me and I didn't stop her, how I liked forced feminization in like narratives, even if it was meant as a joke. I'm like, it's not a joke to me. Um, it all rushed forward, and then my egg shattered. It bloody shattered, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm a girl. I'm a woman. And a couple of things helped me cool off because I was in panic because like what do I tell my dad? What do I tell my partner? Like I wasn't even sure how my partner was gonna react. Um, and then I realized in this space I can come to terms with myself. I can better understand myself. I didn't know who I was gonna be, but I knew I was gonna be a woman. Um, I came up with a name first because I didn't know what my design was gonna be. And I wanted to use the name Sophie. Sophie always sounded right. I always liked the name Sophie. And I wanted to bring it up. I wanted something alliterative to be catchy. Like, the problem is, if you know anything about Spider-Man, is that S synonyms are all kind of taken. Spectacular Sophie, sensational Sophie, stupendous Sophie. It's all either too goofy or been taken. So I'm trying to come up with something. And then I just start devolving, like stemming to myself. I go so. I'm killing time on top of everything else. And then I think to myself, you know, So Sophie sounds like the name of a failed fashion doll.
Mm-hmm.
And then something clicked. I realized there aren't that many. I do porcelain doll, but beyond that, there aren't that many doll VTubers. We're not dolls kind of have a bad stigma of like being all the spooky and unsettling, but there aren't that many doll VTubers. So I was in Vexoria's server at the time, and I remember getting with an artist because I didn't know any artists at the time. And I got with someone named Mazenda, and I can actually show this to you. If I can pull this up, I should have my hands on it. I know I didn't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. So Mazenda does a lot of emotes for Vexoria, and they did this sketch out for me. Like I described what I wanted. The inspirations for the design was a cross-up of Sailor Saturn. Actually, I'll zoom out a little bit for you guys. It's a send-up of Sailor Saturn. I wanted like sort of superhero, like, but also like fashionable. So the hoop skirt was a certainty. And I was also inspired by Minnie Mouse. I wanted something iconic. So I decided to go for a big bow for two reasons. One, I always like Minnie Mouse's bow. I want something big that could stick out on all sides of my head at all times. Kind of a Mickey Mouse principle in and of itself. So no matter where my head is, you can always see the bow.
Oh,
And also as a
okay.
person, yeah. And also as a personal thing, Minnie Mouse was my birth mom's favorite Disney character. And me wearing this bow is kind of my way of feeling close to her.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Blue Break, I wasn't found in a dumpster, my lord, as I crawled out of a landfill. There's a big difference. So yeah, I decided to be a doll. My original intention for the lore, the background, was more dark comedy because I still had some of my edgelord genes, kind of creeping out.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, and this didn't last very long. I was going to be the base. Oh, why am I on the left? Let me move myself for you. Oh, no, I'm too far. Oh my gosh. Latency. There. Am I good?
Yes, good.
So the basic thing was I crawled out of a landfill originally. The difference was I went to go looking for my owner. I found them and they didn't remember who I was. So I still had to get some of my edgelordness out. I killed my original owner and I propped them up. So I made it look like, because yeah, Sophie was a villain originally. A sympathetic villain maybe, but a villain none the same.
Mm-hmm.
She was going to she propped them up Weekend at Bernie style and made her family believe that she was just a shut-in now. And she streamed as a way to get money so she could keep paying rent. That was honestly pitch black and it wouldn't have worked in the long run. I didn't want to box myself in, oddly enough. Ironically enough, I mean. So I wanted something more hopeful and inspired. Yandere, yeah, something like that. But then I realized that my name's So Sophie. It's not just a self-deprecating, like, playful jab about mediocrity. So Sophie is an assurance to me that I am who I am. I've always been this, and despite all of the times where people have gotten annoyed at me because of who I am, I will always be this, nothing else. I will be so Sophie.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cute. Yeah. So, what was... So, did you start streaming as a VTuber, and what was your first stream like?
Oh god, that was almost 3 years ago. I started in April. I had a barely like tentative grasp of what I should have done. I had a few assets. I took a few assets from my old review show that I never got around to using, and I plopped them together. I got Beru Flower to do my first ever PNG, and originally I had shorter gloves with like frilled doilies, and then I had ballerina shoes instead of the high heels and stockings that you saw just now. Um, I got together. I figured out how to capture my stuff, and my the first three things I ever streamed was Paper Mario, Fallout 3, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
Oh,
All in
okay.
one, all in my debut stream. Um, it was okay. I spent the first year proper just developing friendships because I saw a lot of like-minded. This is where I met Claude Everproud, Disifay, Farron the Genie, Lade Hyrald, and I started becoming proper friends with Mistress Doom. And I just like slowly built from there. I found a new because Beru Flower was availability. They're very high quality, but it's hard to get them for consistent work. Because their slots get taken very quickly. So I got met by chance someone named Owl Doll Arts. They was also a toy. Like they were also a doll, and they also streamed. And I'm like, oh my god, what a coincidence! And they updated my design, so that's where the longer gloves come from. And I decided to go for more simplicity, to have the heels and the leggings or the stockings with the bows.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of went on from there. Wait, my orientation on here is so rough. That's on me.
Yeah, don't worry, I can fix it. I can fix it, hold up.
No, it's okay.
It's fine, I can fix it. Alright, here's me fixing it.
Yeah,
I fixed it.
But yeah, if you have any other general questions about my VTubing, I'm all here for it. It's we're hitting the present day now.
So like you said, you started when you in your first year of VTuber, started like talking and making friendship with other VTubers. Like, who were the first bunch of VTubers you started making connections with?
Well, shoot. There was someone named Atsumori Kofuhara found me on complete accident on Twitter. He poked me and was like, "Hey, you're pretty cool," and I'm glad he resonated with me. I resonated with him. I wasn't sure what to take at the time, but I'm really glad I took that chance. He invited me to, I think, his birthday party stream.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I met a bunch of cool people. I met Charity Goblin Ruby, Northern Kiss, Corfitz, and Gob the Goblin. And from Gob the Goblin, I met more. I met Scarlet Otaku. And, it was... God, it was such, a long time ago. I also met Poffle Cake. I tried to look down my friends list so I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I met Merry-Go-Round by complete accident.
Wow.
Splatoon 3 had just come out, and Claude wanted to get a collab together. So me, him, Chaotic Clef, and Merry-Go-Round all got into a couple of rounds, and it was cool meeting them.
Cool.
But yeah, I just kind of went from there. Um,
Mm.
I got the attention of a few people. I made a clip on Mimcubus where I had offhandedly called them Tickletail.
Oh, I remember
And
that.
oh, you saw that?
I saw that on the Bird app one day. I saw
Yeah,
it.
that was me. Um, and I'm always in a worried spot where like I'm worried that I've milked it too much. Where I try not to bring it up all that often because I don't wanna twist the knife any further. Um, but yeah, I met some people like Creepshow through that, and a lot of the friendships I made were just me randomly reaching out to certain people. Um, I met Amy, you know, my found mom, by happenstance, and I just like DM'd her because I was watching her stuff and I thought she was incredibly cool and inspiring. And I and then through her I met through Cybovine and Take Two Action, who showed up during one of my first just chatting streams, and it really just went from there.
Mm. And now, basically, just fast forward this to the modern day, basically.
You got it.
Hmm. So, speaking of the modern day in the new year, do you have uh any future plans for the new year? Like, is there a stream or something in the like that you want to try to do in the new year?
Well, in the short term, tomorrow I'm going to be streaming Jack and Daxter and the Precursor Legacy. I'm hoping to this first part. January is usually my preparation. I've already getting some upgrades. You've been seeing my arms twitch a little bit. I'm using an Ultra Leap for arm tracking, and it's helpful for the most part. But I got this off eBay for half price, and it shows. Um, so I'm hoping to get I already ordered the newest one, like the Hyatt, like it's the newest version of Ultra Leap. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping to help it improve this so I can have more domain expansion or something. I don't know. It's all about going to be making little tweaks. I'm going to be upgrading to a new fan because my one I currently have is giving up the ghost.
Oh,
Um, it's not so much, but I can't really play Marvel Rivals right now. Excuse
okay.
me. I do have a few goals. I'm at 1,700 followers now. I hit 1,700 recently. Thank you guys. I appreciate
Nice.
that.
Congratulations.
If possible, I would like to hit 2,000 followers before the year is up. I just want to keep continuing making this place a safe place for those who felt that when I felt, where they felt like weren't allowed to be themselves, lest they be something as stupid as and banal as cringe. Um, I want to expand and meet new people, like how I met you. Um, I guess in terms of like larger goals, I like to connect. It's a scary ass prospect because I don't want to come off as clout chasing, but at the same time, I don't want to discriminate against larger creators just because they're larger creators. I don't want to put them on a pedestal and dehumanize them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few creators I would like to personally like talk with and hang out with more. But the big thing for me is whatever happens, if by some wild miracle that I'm able to like expand and do more with this or get a bigger following, I don't want to forget my other friends, the ones who were
Yeah.
with me from the start. Because I've seen that happen so many times, and I don't hold that against anybody at all. It is the nature of the industry. You're doing what you have to. You're not doing it out of malice. You're doing it because you don't have time on your hands anymore. I want to try to break that. I want to keep letting the people know that I was their friend first. I am your friend first. And if regardless of how successful I may be, if I don't hold up to that, then I failed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if things stay the same, that works too. Ideally, I wouldn't mind just being on Taka's bar just to see what the guy's like. Um, I wouldn't mind trying to get partner, but in terms of like broader scope, um, I also want to go to Offkai this year. You know, the big VTuber convention.
Oh, didn't know
It's
there was
got
a convention for that.
Yep, it's got some pretty big companies behind it. I want to see what it's like.
Okay. Oh boy. Well, this has been an amazing interview, and we have reached the part of the interview where we start doing our lightning round bit of questions before we sign things off officially. And these questions can come from chat, and they can apply to both Sophie and me. So just taking lightning round questions from everyone here, basically. But before that, just want to say thank you for doing this again, Sophie. You've been an amazing guest, and I'm happy that you decided to do this. Amazing job, and not amazing job, but amazing that you decided to do this.
Oh, it was an honor, Madam Universe. Thank you very much for having me on.
And our first question is, how do you keep being so cute and talented, Sophie?
Basking shark oil. Trade secret.
Oh. Okay. My question is, what kind of material are you made of as a doll?
A lot of people keep thinking I'm made of porcelain. I'm not. That's another thing. A lot of people go with like the porcelain doll thing because it's more delicate, more poetic, or something like that. More mysterious. No, I made of PVC plastic, and I actually gave the toy that I am lore in and of itself. I gave it a little backstory where it was Sophie was a Okay, I had to bridge this. Sophie was a failed doll. She was too expensive because I have die-cast joints. I have metal joints in me, and that's something you don't want a fashion doll to have. My hair is, synthetic. Materials are pretty much what you would expect, kind of like a nylon-like. But my frills are especially are like hand sewn, or they were hand sewn. And then they were copied. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Second question is, what kind of art piece would you just love to see of you? Like, just for you. Nothing about work or whatever. This is something I want to see of you.
There's two things I want one is I want to get a family portrait of like me, Amy, Tay, Unity, most of my moms, like all in like a dignified oil piece. But one thing I think I would like to see for me is I want a composition piece of like Sophie badly damaged, like battle damage, like maybe she's facing off against a fearsome opponent, and she has an arm broken off, one of her legs is cracked really badly, her chest has there's a glowing thing in my chest, like that's the most we know about what's keeping Sophie alive in lore. The chest is cracked up, and you can see the glowing coming out of it. Her face is scratched, and she has this look of utter defiance on her face. She's holding her bow aloft in her hand, and it's spinning super fast like a fucking destructor disc from Dragon Ball. Because that's one thing Sophie can do. She can turn her bow into a projectile.
Oh shit! Okay.
I don't know why that image so resonated with me.
Have you thought about having Sophie to have a rival arch enemy character involved in the story? Yeah, that's a telling laugh. That is a telling laugh indeed. Okay.
I'll
Next.
get out soon enough.
Uh-huh. Next question is, for a selfie video game, what kind of game is it? What would be its hook?
I'll probably start off with like a retro 8-bit side scroller, something small. I probably take liberty now. I take liberties with Sophie itself, because one thing about her is that if you take her head off, she can't see. She basically loses all senses relative to the head, so I can't hear or see or anything, or smell. But I probably like ignore that for a video game. We'll have her take her head off and like be able to roll it around to solve puzzles. Like have to control her body and head separately. Other than that, I've always wanted to do an RPG where my party members are other VTuber friends.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What character class would you be in that RPG?
Probably a sword master like my mom.
Oh, okay.
Though Sophie, for more nerdy stuff, Sophie fights with a shield and it's connected to a ripcord. So imagine like a Rygar. You guys remember Rygar?
I remember Rygar.
Yeah, imagine her shooting out a shield and it's connected with a cord that she can shoot back, like spring back.
Okay, alright. Next question is I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned the whole having multiple moms thing. Who was your first found mother, and how many found moms do you have?
My first found mother was Amy C.J. Adams. She adopted me one tender night in September after a major emotional breakthrough in VR chat. I have 13 moms total.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people kind of scoff at that, like I'm collecting women. First off, that's a boundary of mine. Don't say I collect my moms. Secondly, she is a polyamorous woman. So whenever she got into a new relationship, I gave that person the option, if they wanted to have me as their daughter as well, and they can hold on to that even if they don't date Amy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those people had their own relationships, and we kept this going for a little while, but I've basically kind of capped it. So unless someone actively approaches me in the polyamory line and says they actively want to be my mom, like of their own will, or of their own want rather, then other than that, I'm like, I'm gonna leave it be, because I as much as I love my mothers, I love like having so many, and each of them being so different and teaching me different things. I also don't want to get overwhelmed. I don't want to get overstimmed.
Understood. Favorite game from the PlayStation 1?
Crash Bandicoot 1.
Really, the very first one?
Yep, that is my favorite of all the Crash games.
Oh, okay. I had Crash 1, but people and most Crash fans say like it's kind of the weakest one because it fall on, and I understand why people say it does fall under the first game syndrome, where like not a lot of like what people think of Crash is now like not polished. It's kind of difficult to like 100% the game. For it, because like you gotta do all the box jumps, like some of the levels are like long, and like Crash just feels like especially in the first game, and we're not including like the insane trilogy version of Crash 1, just like the very first PlayStation 1 port of Crash 1, where Crash just kind of felt like dopey in a word, in a sense. But yeah, still a very functional and phenomenal game, the first Crash Bandicoot game.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Oh, close am I to being too much or too extra for you? It's a considerable question. How long have we known each other? Trying to think like the one we first met. I think it might have been. I think it might have been in 2024, right?
Yeah, you showed him on my chat. I welcomed you warmly, and I just enjoyed your company ever since. And I saw you had a really cool avatar, and I loved your luchador masked wrestler itself the most.
Thank you. And a follow-up tells a little about myself. Well, as Sophie talked about, I do have a masked luchador outfit because I am a fan of pro wrestling. I'm a pro wrestling fan. It's one of the things that I find comfort in whenever I had like bad or sad days. I just turn on anything involving pro wrestling and it just makes me happy. Yeah, luchador. I can quickly change it to the costume. Real quick, hold up. Just gotta go off stage real quick. Let's see. Where is it?
I'm gonna
Where
be
is it?
interviewed by a luchador. Hell yeah!
Okay. Alright. And I'm back. And this is the luchador outfit that I commissioned. So the mask is inspired by Luchador Sin Cara, and the outfit itself, like just go upstate, I shot the full outfit. The outfit itself was inspired by Rainbow Mika from Street Fighter.
Our Micah classic.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio, yay or nay? Ray, I say Ray Jr. Yay. You can't go wrong with Rey Mysterio Jr. By the way, would like to say rest in peace to the original Rey Mysterio, Rey's uncle, Rey Sr., who passed away, I think, in the final days of 2024. It's when he passed away. So yeah, rest in peace, Rey Sr. Yeah, I still miss Eddie. Everyone misses Eddie. You can't go wrong with Eddie. Um, let's see. Favorite RPG of yours, Sophie?
That probably has to be Pokemon Red because it was my gateway into the RPG genre in general.
Oh, okay. Uh, so between Pokemon's Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Actually, no, you said red. So between the versions red, blue, and yellow, which one is your favorite?
Probably Red because that was the one I played with when I was 5.
Between gold, silver, and crystal, which is your favorite?
Gold.
Gold. Okay. And favorite between Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald?
Emerald.
Okay. Alright. Favorite game due to story to Sophie and myself. Sophie, what is your favorite video game?
Favorite game due to its story. Gosh, I don't know. I could be cheeky and say Pokemon Red again. I'd say the first Ratchet and Clank because I like Ratchet's character arc. A lot of people complain about him being a jerk. Apparently, not to be like totally rude, but like guys, you know what a character arc is? Like, there are flaws, and then they get better, and they realize they were in the wrong.
He was kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Also, it looks like we're hitting about the 2-hour mark. Miss Universe, did you have any other questions? Did you wanna...
Only like 2 questions.
All right. How about 2 more questions?
2 more questions. And as we see in another question from Odessa in chat, your opinion on Kingdom Hearts or Kingdom Hearts 4?
We don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts 4 yet, so I can't really dispose a opinion. I refuse to really talk about it until we get more information on it. Kingdom Hearts 1 is in my top 5 favorite games of all time. I adore the franchise, and I will grind my way through Chain of Memories again if it means I can have a refresher as I go into 2, which is really, really, really good.
Your favorite and least favorite Kingdom Hearts game?
Favorite one's probably a toss-up between 1 and 2 for different reasons. Least favorite is probably Dream Drop, because I feel like the mechanics are a pain in the ass. And Flow Motion. Yeah, Flow Motion is kind of like it feels like a win button. For a lot of the platforming, kind of trivializes everything.
Okay. Your favorite character from Kingdom Hearts?
Probably... unironically Goofy. Remember that time he died?
I can't believe Goofy fucking died. I can't believe it. Okay, and final question for today is, if you could pick any toy franchise you would put Sophie in, what toy franchise would it be and why?
Any toy franchise?
Yeah, like say like Transformers, G.I. Joe, Barbie, Rainbow Bright, something along those lines.
I probably wouldn't want to put her anywhere. I'd rather put Sophie in her own franchise. On the subject of that, to
read to the question, what toy franchise would you want to do a crossover with Sophie?
Well, Sophie's whole deal is that she goes across a multiverse called the Crossverse, to do jobs and find out where she belongs. So I have a hard time answering that question because I don't like crossovers for their own sake. But I do have something for you, Madam Universe. My artist customer drew this.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Hold up.
I think she drew me with a little buck tooth. That's adorable.
Hold up. I think it's like the first fan art I got of me in my luchador outfit.
Hell yeah!
In the show. Yeah, so this is like a little sketch of my luchador Sona in the ring. Aw, I love it.
Nice.
I think that's a cool note to end this episode on. Again, thank you so much, Sophie, for being a wonderful and amazing guest. Before we end things today, do you want to give like a quick spiel about yourself?
Would you like me to do my rage spiel? I always like doing that.
Sure.
Alright. Let me move myself properly. Right here. Okay. Yeah. Hello there, for real seekers! My name is Sophie. I'm the fashion all that does it all. I'm ready to rock straight out of the box, and I'll show you all the thrill. of the Frill. Welcome, or come by the Ruffle and Shuffle Dollhouse sometime. There are many fun games to find within, and you get to bet on a win. So if you like what you see, you like what I do, you like my friends, don't hesitate. Become a darling today.
Nice. And any plans for any upcoming things you plan on doing in the future?
Tomorrow I'm gonna be at 5 p.m. I'm gonna be playing on my channel, Jack and Daxter and the Precursor Legacy. And then on Saturday is going to be the grand finale for me and Little Flamey's there we go. Pokemon Progression Series, where we're going to finish Pokemon Red and Blue, respectively, and then we're going to take the teams that we have been raising in that game and battling them out to see which one reigns supreme. And I've also been really getting into Cult of the Lamb. Like I'm a late influencer or a
Mm-hmm.
late bloomer, but damn it, it's actually really fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Excuse me.
Well, sounds good. And here's a clip of selfies. Make sure you check her out. And see
All right,
what
which one does it
plays.
get? This is
Before
it.
taking
Hmm?
the final
Oh, Link to the
passage,
Past.
which this is, Link should have full hearts and full magic. Should also acquire
Fa-
both
fa-
gold and
Faye?
silver and silver. Mhm.
I mean, we have everything. It just comes down to. Are you serious? What the?
Man, this one fairy.
I can't believe that. Just
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Oh, God. Actually, I want to get to Link to the Past one day. That seems would be fun.
It was really fun.
Mm-hmm. And I do stream again tomorrow. In fact, will be another episode of the talk show tomorrow. My guess for that will be see if I can. It'll be my friend Amy, a different Amy, Amy Doggy. It's a clip of
Yo.
hers.
I'm gonna take all the money out of the machine.
Oh, they're adorable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take all your money. Wah. Bark, 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 bark. I can't reach. Woof,
Oh,
woof,
they're a Spartan
woof.
puppy. Oh, and they have a little bow. Those plagiarists. I'm gonna sue. I'm gonna sue. I'm gonna sue.
Thank you again so much for Sophie. We'd like to have you
I
on
own
again.
bows.
Do you want to be in touch with like the show's lawyers to see if you can work something out?
I'll settle for a pan of brownies. Litigation is not my strong suit.
Brownies is good.
Because I keep trying to kiss everybody.
Alright. We do have someone in mind for a raid. Stick around for the raid. They're still currently live. Yeah, they're still live. You say it's their birthday today?
Yep. Looks like it.
Okay.
It's actually their birthday and not like a pranky kind of way.
Alright, well, here's the follower raid message. And here's the sub raid message. And with that, let's go raid Take Two Action. It's their birthday today. To start this raid.
That's right. Playtime's over, guys. Later.
Later, bye bye. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye. Say bye, Sophie.
Bye bye. See you next round.
Bye bye. Great show. This was great.
Very, very, very cool. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for stopping by and doing this.
Oh, of course.